Today, we're going to talk about what we always talk about, but this video is going to be very interesting because Theta and XRP are doing something very, very noteworthy. And, we're literally so close to backtesting this breakout area. Is it possible that people are front running it? Absolutely. We could see the RSI is getting into oversold territory, just about. We can also see the price attempting to backtest this local high here that we set back in January, which is very interesting as well. And then we can also see this wave is getting pretty extended, which tells me a reversal is coming. Look how long this thing is here, right? So if I just take a basic measurement, and I'm going to put it right about there. And then if I take this, right, just to get an idea of the length of the wave, and then I take it all the way, let's say, to this first wave over here, you could see that's about how tall it is, right? So, waves don't go in one direction for eternity. They usually go for a certain amount of time, for a certain amount of length, and then they reverse. So what I like to do is I take the averages of each wave, right? So you can see this average, right? You can see this one here to the downside. If I take it right over here to the downside, you could say we actually passed it up a little bit here. This wave was a little longer. And then you can see this wave here was actually 3 different waves in an extension. So if I take it right here, you could see right there where those crosshairs are, that's actually where the breakout took place. So if I match it up right there, you can actually see that's where that subwave ended, and you can see the pullback there, right? So if I take this wave here, or the line, and I take it up to here, you can see, let me fix that right there. You could see that's right where we topped out at, right around here, excluding the wicks there. And then if I take this and I take it to this one's my favorite, by the way. If you take it to this wave here, this is the one you want to match. You could say, well, who cares? Those waves are actually going up. You're matching it to going up. And I say it's the same thing. But this one is actually going down. And you can see it's literally the length of this wave and the length of this wave is identical. It's identical, right? So that tells me, right, not financial advice, but I am going long. I am buying Theta right now. It could go lower, yeah, but everything's screaming at me saying, buy, buy, buy. This is a very good chance. Now, could I be wrong? Totally. But we're going to, it all comes down to Bitcoin and the broader crypto market. We're going to get into that as well. But if I take a trend-based fib extension and I take this, I haven't even done it yet, right? This is the first time I'm really looking at the charts here today, and I take it up here. Let's see where we're at. We basically hit that 50% area, which is definitely interesting. Let me see. Is this on log scale here? No, it's not. So if I put it on log scale, you can actually see we hit the 702. So that's also very interesting in my opinion. So yeah, I think we're at that level to backtest in here somewhere in this $1.45. Remember what I said. I said $1.45. We literally hit $1.47. So we came very, very close. So let me take a Fibonacci from here up to here. You can see we actually did not break below the 786, which is bullish. We did not want to break below it, right? We can wick below it, but we don't want any candles below that 786. Otherwise, it's going to be more looking like a reversal than an actual pullback. So, yeah, I think Theta is very exciting right now. So, one thing's for sure, we didn't get the Wyckoff pattern. Remember, we talked about either this is going to sweep the lows and go Wyckoff on us, or this is going to be a simple a zigzag pattern here. which is basically kind of like a double correction. So you have an ABC, right? And then, you also have another three-wave move here. So A, B, C, right? So you have 3, and then this whole thing is 3. So this basically comes down to one big giant ABC. So guys, when you have an impulse like this, and then a three-way pullback into a flat, and then you run up massively with another three-way pullback that comes and back tests the top of this here, you can see we're impulsing, correcting, impulsing, correcting. What do you think is going to happen? Could we just go down, 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 down? Well, if we could, but look, it just doesn't look right to me. It doesn't seem like that's what would happen. To me, the very least, we need something like this. The very least, right? Or even something like this before coming back down, right? If it's going to be bearish. If this comes up in 3 waves and then comes and breaks the low, then it's going to look, it's going to look more like we're bearish. But in my opinion, I don't think that's going to happen based off of a number of things. And we're going to get into those things just in a minute. So what I would watch here is on the smaller time frames. Look at this. Now, it's very, 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 very early, but I really like that candle. That is a bullish reversal candle, in my opinion, right? It could be wrong, but you see the tail here? You can see we have 3 candles. 1, 2, 3. And the third candle kind of took out the low. The wick took out the low, and it got bought right back up. And now it's turning into somewhat of a bullish hammer candle. Is it going to be sustainable? No, it's probably going to most likely pull back. It's not going to rip from here. But if we zoom in, you can kind of see we played around here. 1, 2, right? We hit the low, and then we came right up. We swept the low. So usually when that happens, if we were in a downtrend here, right, and sometimes this happens, you hit the low, right? You hit the low again, and then you break down, right? So that tells me, okay, we're going down. But if the price instantly reverses right back to the upside, and it takes out, it reclaims the support that it lost, and then it also takes out the resistance, either it's a flat or it's a reversal, right? A short-term reversal at least, because remember, we're on the 20-minute chart. So we'll have to keep an eye on this because it still looks pretty bullish. I mean, let's zoom in even closer here. And I actually missed that, this move here. That would have been really nice to see. Yeah, let's see what this thing can do here. So now we know, right, where the spot was reclaimed, which is this right here, right at $1.52. Yeah, about $1.52, $1.51. So the goal for Theta is to hold above that. If we can hold above that, if we break below it, then it's going to look like we might set another low. But this is kind of our foundation now, kind of our, our little guideline here to see if we can, have a bullish pullback continuation, or B, come back down and retest it, right? Or C, if we break below, then at least we know this is probably some sort of subwave of maybe a 4th wave, or maybe a subwave of the 5th wave. But remember, I did those measurements, right? And I measured this wave here because, again, the market makers have a interesting way at controlling people's psychology. Even though most of the retail crowd is bullish overall, I would say, like in general, but most, for the macro view, but in the short term, a lot of people are bearish. And the way they make people bearish is the way they take it down. So see how this move here, it was so fast. So it got people bearish, but it was kind of like ripping a Band-Aid off. It happened so fast, people kind of got over it, right? But the way this came down is it's just dragging and dragging. It's going down, back up. It's grinding and grinding and grinding down. It's taking its time. This is like kind of like psychological torture for some people where, you know, it feels like, oh, just get it over with. Come on. And it's just going down and it comes back up and it comes down. And it messes with people's psyche, right? It totally, you know, changes sentiment. But usually when you get waves like this, it's usually a trap. They're usually trying to shake out all the weak hands. See what they did? They took out all these lows here, right? And then they took out this wick, right? And then they continued to drop it to the downside. So what we have is a 1, 2. This is probably another 1, 2. And then we have probably a wave 3 here, and this would be a wave 4, and now we're probably in a wave 5. And inside wave 5, let's see if we could zoom in. If this is a wave 5, we have 1, 2, all of that's 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then when we zoom into this wave, you could see 1, 2, this could be 3, this could be 4, and then maybe we get one more low to make it wave 5. So keep an eye on this. This is actually either this is the bottom, or we're going to set one more low and that will be the bottom. So, and what do you do? Like, well, do you buy now? Do you buy later? Right? Well, for me, again, it always comes down to averaging out. You don't know if it's going to make another low, right? It could be, you know, the 5 waves is finished in here. And again, I go back to the measurement that we just did. And it's basically the same exact length as that first initial drop. So from a time perspective, from a price perspective, you know, the length of it, it's all matching up as it was the low. And then look at this sharp reversal here. So this is interesting. It's still pumping here. It's still pumping. Man, I wish I would have snagged some up here, because we came up to this resistance. I'm like, okay, it's got to pull back here, right? But no, it blew right past that. So that's definitely something to take note of. Very serious what's going on. So this wave right here, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2. This could be 3, 4, and then 5. Or even better, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's what I like the best. So do we have divergence between the 4th and the 5th? We do. We have bullish divergence between the 4th and the 5th. You can see it right there. It's not very strong, but I mean, it's a small time frame. You could see here's your low, here's a lower low. You could see here's a high, here's a low, here's a higher low. So this is increasing, this is decreasing. That's bullish divergence. Now, could it be a flat? Yes, that's one of the things you got to be concerned about. If it's a flat here, could this be an A, B, and a C, some kind of expanded flat? And if that's the case, you're going to come back down. But I would actually like a 3-way pullback here, right? If you get this long extension here, then you kind of want to bull flag out a little bit here. And then once you get this oscillation, that would be a good place to go long. Because buying it right now, it's too risky because you just got green candle after green candle after green candle. I mean, yeah, it could keep going, right? It could actually get back up to $1.66 easily. So just understand that. So we are still in a downtrend though from this wave. Nothing, that hasn't changed. We're gonna need, and one of the simple ways to know if we've broken trend is just draw a downward resistance line. So there's your line there. So once we break that line and then we have an impulse, right? That's kind of how you know. You could do another one here, right? But I don't really like doing that so much because let's say we do come up and break the line, well then you just miss the whole opportunity down here, right? So we'll see how this continues to play out. But man, this is actually going exactly how we want it to go, right? So just to recap here, when we were up here, right? Basically what I said was we need some kind of correction. So we did. We got an ABC correction. We back tested the bull market support band. It's looking really, really good. Let's go, right? So one of the things I said was we most likely want to build a base down here. So that's exactly what we did. We built a base. So as the base continued to form, we hit the bull market support band, hit it again, right? Hit it again. I said this is kind of the area here where you want things to either go down or go break out here because you had the significant base, right? And according to the total 3 fractal, it said that we probably have a little bit more downside. So in that case, one of the things I said was either we're going to break this low, right, for a Wyckoff, sweep the low and then have a strong reversal, or we're going to take out this low and come down and back test this high over here and make it a potential 1-2-1-2, right? So basically back over here, it was either a simple zigzag with a base and a breakout, or it was a back test and a breakout. But I did not consider the Wyckoff until we actually built this base and until we actually broke below here, right? So that was kind of a newer idea. So at least the market has shown its hands and we know. So now, since it's down here, right, number one, right, if we were to break out back over here, you wouldn't have been able to buy cheap theta today, right, or yesterday or whatever. So I'm grateful that it actually came down here, so we could buy it for cheap. But yeah, let's look at the other chart here on theta. Look at this chart here. You could see, let me actually go to the 4-day chart. So right off the bat on the 4-day chart, I see a nice 3-way pullback. 1, 2, 3, right? And this 3-way pullback is following, again, these impulses to the upside. So here was a 3-way pullback here, but it was a flat pattern, so it's kind of a wonky 3-way move, but it was 1, 2, 3 nonetheless, and we got this significant rise, right? So if I take that and I just put it right there as an extension, right, that's kind of where you can potentially see it going here around that $6 area. So let me just do that one more time to make sure. Let me put that right there. I'll get rid of this one and I'll put that right about there. And that's about, yeah, about $6, $6.15. And that, my friends, is when we officially hit our target, basically from back over here. So basically right here was the signal to go long for the retracement of this wave. And the retracement is somewhere between this cluster in here. So if I just drag that cluster out right about there, that's the target. So then once we get there, then that's where it's basically do or die, right? So that's when, you know, legends will be made, because the retracement level determines, do we get out and go into expansion, or do we come down and go into reaccumulation, then go into expansion later on? That's going to be a tough one, right? That's basically whatever happens in these retracement levels is going to set the course for the next 2 to 3 years. So just understand that, right? And it could be various different things that could happen. We can get up here and we can flag out and go. We can build a base up here and then go. We can come down and build a base and then go. So there's a lot of different reaccumulation structures. But the main thing is just getting through those retracement levels. The good thing now is we don't have to worry about that until we get there. And one of the good things is if we do get there, right, and I take this right where we are now and I go all the way up to that $6.10 area, that's 280% away. So, you know, your portfolio still has another 280% until we can make that final decision if we're going to go and break out into new all-time highs or do something longer, which is go into a reaccumulation. I will say this, if Bitcoin does break out into new all-time highs, which I really believe it will, then it significantly increases the odds for Theta to as well. And one of the reasons why I don't think we're going to have such a big reaccumulation is because we already had this massive base down here, which was a Wyckoff. So you can see here from May of 2022 all the way till February 2024, right? So, you know, 2 years of sideways base building. This is all accumulation in here, right? And the narrative was we're going lower, we're going lower, we're going lower, we're going lower. But if nobody bought in here, right? If we didn't buy in here, then we would have missed it, right? So if we would have listened to the narrative of we're going lower, we would have missed it. That's why, you know, you gotta stay away from the consensus, right? Is the consensus bullish? Is the consensus bearish? What is the majority people saying? If your neighbor hits you up and says, hey, what's this Bitcoin thing? That's when you know you're getting close to the top, right? Or if you have like certain friends or cousins or whoever, right, that's not really into crypto but knows you're into crypto, and then they start asking you about crypto, that's how you know that they know about it. So you know we're getting close, but we're not even near that yet, right? So we came down just to the point of backtesting this area. But I'll tell you what we did do. And this is my mistake. I didn't think about this line, right? So our first line was right here. And obviously we fell below that. Then the second line is right here. And we actually missed that. So we're actually in between these two lines. And I say, okay, well, what's going on here? But what about, we also have these lines over here. And then we also have this line over here, right? So that's if these are the lower lines, basically between $1.20 and $1.50, just say. But we also have over here, which is this, there's actually a cluster of candles. We actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. So that's a significant area right there. So let me take everything off the screen And I'm just going to put that one line and look at where it hit. It actually nailed that area. So we missed this one, we missed these, but we nailed this one here. So could we go lower? Yes. Will we go lower? I don't know. I say, here's the thing. If we're gonna go lower, I want to see a pullback first. And if that pullback is an impulse, then you probably think it's a reversal. If it's a three-wave pullback like we've been having, right? So let me just show you. This is kind of how we'll figure it out sooner than most people. So you can see how you had this sort of corrective move up, came down. Same thing here. You had this correction up, move down. Same thing here. You had this correction up. It kind of looked bullish, right, for a little bit, but it didn't give you a three-way pullback. It started impulsing down, right? Same thing here. You had this three-wave move, impulsing down. So is this going to be another three-wave move and then impulse down? Yeah, it could totally be that. So just be aware of that. But what I'm saying is, this is getting, the further we go down, the bigger the extension is. The more time it takes, the more people are getting shaken out, the more likely we are to find a bottom. So are you going to wait and potentially miss that bottom, right? Because I think one way or another we're getting close. And the reason why I think we're getting basically we're right there is because we're so close to backtesting this area, exactly what we talked about. And then also, again, if you take the length of this wave, look how long it is, right? And you compare that to the length of this wave, it's about the same size. And then you take it from the length of this wave right here, you can see, right? Same thing here. Here's the length of this wave. They're all basically the same size, right? So just like how these waves in this range in here was the same size, right? So you can see this wave here, just like how this wave was the same size as this wave. See, that's what I'm saying. So if this wave is this long and this one is this long, so that's how you know we're probably getting close here. So I'm just sounding the alarm, saying, hey, this is getting very interesting. So let me get back to Theta. I'm going to show you why. Another reason why I think we're getting close. Now, again, this is not financial advice. We could still easily, have capitulation here, right, and have a big move down. If Bitcoin decides to lose that bull market support band. Right? Because even if Theta has all the technicals, right, the lines match up, the length, the waves, the counts, right, everything is perfect. But then if Bitcoin doesn't show up, then you can't escape the wrath of Bitcoin, continuing to bleed. It's just going to pull everything down with it, no matter how good the chart looks, right? So let's get into Bitcoin for a minute, and then we're going to talk about Total 3 and look at the fractal and look how unbelievably close it is to, it's literally at the extreme low for Total 3, and I'll show you that in a minute. But for Bitcoin, again, we pulled back exactly where we thought it would, which is back down in here. Right? You can go back and check out the videos. It was right in this zone that I've been eyeballing since back in here, and we finally hit it. The question is that enough? It could be. It could be enough, right? I don't really, look at this candle, by the way. We have a daily bullish hammer candle, right? So that's interesting. And then XRP had a very bullish daily engulfing candle, and I'm going to talk about XRP in a moment, but look at that, guys. Look at that bullish. You can say, well, I don't, if it doesn't matter if you don't like XRP. The point is, it's telling a story, right? If it's bullish, and it could be an indicator of potentially leading the way here, right? So if I draw a trend line right here, you can see how nice we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 points. And you can see where, so basically I'm going to make a separate video for XRP because there's a lot to talk about. But this video here is just going to be a broader sense. But yeah, we got a bullish engulfing candle, and it looks like a white, and XRP does look like a Wyckoff accumulation. We beautifully had that reversal in here, or so it seems, right? I still want to see a little pullback and then a continuation. But yeah, it's looking good. We are running into some resistance up in here, right? So we'll see. But getting back to Bitcoin here, right? We had this zone right here, right? And then one of the things is either this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 5th is truncated, which means it didn't take the top out, right? And then you're gonna get some kind of A, B, and C, like this, which will backtest the bull market support band, kind of build a base in here, and then start to go up. That's sort of the idea, right? The other idea is to say that we haven't completed the 5th wave yet. Instead, this is 1, 2, 3, and then we have an A, we have a B, and then we have a C. So we have kind of like a somewhat of a flat pattern, I guess. Not really, but you have an A, B, C, right? And you came down and you back tested the area we thought was going to be back tested. So here's the bottom. We're going to build a little base in here, play around a little bit, and then continue to pump to the upside. So then what you have is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then once you break out, boom, new all-time highs, headlines, CNBC, Fox Business, CoinTel, all of them saying Bitcoin, new all-time high, blah, 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 right? Everybody buys in. Then what happens? A, B, C. Then the real move comes. The real big moon launch comes, right? Because if this is the 5th of the 5th, well, you're only in the 1st of the 5th, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's wave 1 of 5. And then you get wave 2 of 5. And then here comes wave 3 of 5. Wave 3 is usually the biggest wave. Usually. So it's usually wave 5 or wave 3. So then we pump up to wave 3 here. And then we come back into wave 4. And then we go up into wave 5. And then the bull market's over with. Right? So that would be kind of the idea here. Now, it's not going to look like the way I've drawn. I'm just showing you from a visual perspective of the counts. But the way I drew it probably isn't going to do it like that. But we are looking for 5 waves, right? So just like how we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we had the pullback. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we could still get something bigger, right? So you can see how big this is. We could get something similar in size where we continue to consolidate before the big breakout, right? So just be aware of that, in which case that count would be more or less rise, crash, retrace. We come down into reaccumulation. Then we go sideways here, right? It might take some time, but then we break out. Same exact thing that happened over here after a 5-wave move, right? We had the rise, we had the crash, we had the retracement, we came down into reaccumulation, right? It was actually looked like it was reaccumulating up here, but we actually fell and then had a second base, right? Or a second range. So we had that first range at the top, and then we had another range at the bottom. So I don't think it's going to be identical to that one, but so far here's our range, and we actually broke it to the downside, right? So if it's going to be another range in here, we could actually go sideways in here, right? So most people will say it's going to go up, it's going to go down, but usually what happens is just more or less is sideways, right? So the overall direction, in my opinion, is up. So, when we go to the weekly chart, by the way, today's Monday, and we just had our weekly close. So the weekly close was it flipped bearish. We had a bearish candle here. But again, that was to be expected in order to get down to the backtest level. So basically, when you zoom all the way out and look at it from a simplistic point of view, it's very simple. We have an A, we have a B, we have a C. We have a three-wave move. The third, or the third wave, right, the C wave, pinpoint nailed the bull market support band, right? And then this candle was a bullish hammer candle. I remember making that video saying, wow, this is very, very bullish. And sure enough, we continued to pump. So in my opinion, either this is wave 1 and this is wave 2, and now we're about to get wave 3. So that's kind of what I'm seeing from the weekly perspective. So basically a 1, 2, and we're about to go for the third. Now, here's another very interesting thing here. You can see right here, we pinpoint nailed the bull market support band. My question is, look at where we're at now. Are we going to get a second test for Bitcoin to backtest the bull market support band again? I would love to see that. Why? Because then we have two tests, right? Kind of making up for the test that we missed back over here. See, we want to test it. We want to test it. I'll give you an example that I like to show. Is theta in here. You can see right here, right? See how we tested it once? We came up, we tested it again. So getting two tests, actually it tested it over here too. Getting multiple tests, right, significantly increases the odds, right? Because it basically gives the price more confidence. Like, okay, we tested it once, but can you test it again? You know what I mean? Like, let's say you're out at the shooting range and you shoot a bullseye and your friend looks at you and says, oh yeah, that was luck, do it again, right? And then you load the gun, the rifle, whatever, and you shoot it, and you look at your friend and say, yeah, right, luck had nothing to do with it. And then your friend goes, yeah, go 3 for 5, right? And he'll keep pushing you. So that's kind of like getting two bullseyes in a row, right? Once might have been a fluke, but the second time, if you do it again and you hold it and you test it, right, it could be the real deal. So let's look at the small time frames and see what we got here. And again, right, the length, let's measure this wave here. So from here down to here, let's see if we have anything confluence. Well, this first wave here is awful big, but let me see what this correction here. This correction actually is more shallow, but it's getting closer. So yeah, really nothing in here. I guess you could say from here to here. But what I really like here is the way they grinded it down. Again, that psychological torture. How you see how it kind of just dumps. Well, this one's kind of like going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's just kind of grinding down, taking its time, right? The price corrects through price, but it also corrects through time. So the more time it has, the more likely you are to reverse, right? And then also think about all the ETFs. Think about people investing into Bitcoin, right? Well, back over here was June 7th, And now here we are today at June 17th. So it's been 10 days of going down. So that's about 2 weeks worth of paychecks there for a lot of people, right? To continue to buy. So let's work on this wave here. Right off the bat, what do we have? We have a bottom and we have another bottom. So we have a double bottom. That didn't happen over here. Look at over here. We took out this low here. So here's your low. We took out the low. Same thing over here. We didn't have a double bottom. We kind of drifted sideways in a bear flag and then continued down, right? So let's take a look here. I'm trying to show, I mean, they're all over. But, you know, a double bottom, you know, usually means we're trying to find a bottom here. We're trying to base out. I don't really like, you know, this is a very bullish candle, this 10-hour candle here. Actually, let me go to the 1-hour chart. And then let's look at the waves here. So, again, we're grinding down, which is bearish, right? For retail, the sentiment, which is actually bullish. We have a 1, or let's see, is that a 1, 2 right there? Yeah, so 1, 2. You could say 3, 4, and 5. So we have a 5-wave move. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's your bottom, right? And then what happened? Well, the market makers gave a 3-wave move, right? Okay, we're gonna, you know, because that's what people are used to, right? You get these 3-wave moves, you dump, right? Same thing here. You get the 3-wave move and then you dump. But look, it didn't take out the low. Here's the low. It actually made a higher low, and then bam, it took out all the shorts. That is called a short squeeze, and they often come in the forms of flats. So a flat pattern is one of the best patterns you can learn for basically drawing liquidity, how the market makers do that, right? Because what they'll first do is establish a trend. They'll drop it, they'll have a 3-wave move, they'll drop it again. They'll have a 3-wave move, they'll drop it again. And now what people see here is, right, they say, okay, we had 1 and we had 2. So then what people think is, okay, now it's going to happen again. So we have a drop, we have a 3-wave move. I'm going to go short since now I can see the trend, right? We can see the trend. We can see what it's doing. We can see it's dropping, 3-wave move up, down. Dropping, 3-wave move up, down. So now I can identify that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for it to happen again, right? But then what you do is you push your luck too far, and then it ends up getting you screwed over, right? So that's exactly what happened here. You came down, you had a 3-wave move up, so you say, okay, I'm going to short it, and you short it, and it comes, and bam, it takes you right out. That is usually how they like to play, right? So just a little FYI there. So we have a 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a bottom, we have a 3-wave pullback, and then we have this other 3-wave move, and then a top. So what do we call that? That looks like a flat to me. So what does that mean, right? You could say, well, what does that mean? Well, that usually means, you know, we're probably going back down. But it'll be interesting to see if we break the low, though. So we had 3, and then we had 3, and now you usually get 3, 3, and 5. So this could be an expanded flat, right? And what we're looking for here is once this stalls out, do we come down impulsively like this, right, and break this low, or do we come down like this, like a 3-wave move, right? Something bullish, a bullish correction here, right? And to get more upside, because this is not sustainable, right? This is not gonna keep going up and up and up. This is not sustainable. Eventually, this is gonna pull back. The trick here is when it pulls back, are we gonna get a 3-way pullback? Or is it going to come out and take out the low? So if it takes out the low, that's actually not a bad thing. Why? Because it would actually finish it would actually get us down to the bull market support band, right? So, and then that would also be 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And 7 is the 7 wave bottoming theory. I'll have to show you an example on that. But basically, when you get 5, it's usually a reverse, right, for 3. But if you get 7, then you're way more likely to reverse, right? You're even more likely to reverse. So let's see when I do this. If I take a trend-based fib extension, I don't think it's going to be that good. Okay, so we actually hit the 1-to-1, right? We overshot it a little bit. We came back up, we came down, and we're back up. So we actually made it to the 1-to-1 extension. So what I'm curious to see is if we're going to hit this 1618, 1414. So somewhere right here. And that actually lines up nicely with the bull market support band. So this could be a little bit of a bull trap here, right? It could be a little bit of a bull trap. I'm not going to lie. But, you know, what I'm looking for here is, number one, what is this base going to do? Is this going to continue? If this continues to go sideways, I'm going to start getting bullish, right? But if it starts to drop and take out this low, I'm going to start to think we're going to go down here, right? So then let's translate that to theta. So now we know that, right? So then what could we imagine here for the price of theta? Well, in simple terms, I think we can officially come down and backtest that $1.44 area, right? So let me actually put a range from here down to here. There we go. That'll be better. And then I'll drag this out right about there. So is it possible that people are front running it, right? Yes, but again, if you're trading this, I would wait for a clear signal. I wouldn't just go buy it now. But if you're investing, hodling, spot trading, or buying it for the long haul, then yeah, $1.57, anywhere between anything less than $1.70, in my opinion, is a good buy. So anything less than the top of this or the bottom of this wick, in my opinion, is a very good buy for the future for theta. But all of us want to get the best bang for our buck, right? And the best way to do that, again, is to dollar cost average. So could it be the bottom? Yes, but the good thing about it is we don't have to know right away. Let's let the evidence pour in here, because there's two ways a bottom can form. Either one, it's going to build a base in here, right? And if we start doing that, then we have plenty of time to buy, right? We can start buying this base before it breaks out. Another thing it could do is have a sharp reversal, right? And it does something like this. In which case you can't buy it because you missed it. What would you wait for is a three-way pullback. You wait for a three-way pullback, then you buy, and then it goes up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. So you have to wait for wave 1 to form. Once wave 1 forms, then you wait for the three-way pullback. For example, that's exactly what happened here. So let's say, right, and the best way to learn is to look at history, right? Let's say, I'll put the price right over here so you can't see it, right? So we're basically falling, so we don't know what's going to happen, right? I'm basically coming out with a video saying, look, we're at the bull market support band. It's looking pretty good for an entry here. So we get down to the bull market support band, and now we're looking for 5 waves, right? So if you miss the bottom, that's okay. You don't have to nail the bottom. What you're going to do is you're going to wait for 5 waves. So boom, we got 5 waves right there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a small 5-wave move, which is usually what it does. Is it starts off as a small 5-wave move, and then you can say, okay, we back tested the bull market support band. We had a 5-wave move off the bull market support bands, but wait a minute, I didn't get to buy. I missed my opportunity to buy. Now I'm screwed. No, you're not, because look, if you get a 5-wave move, then you want to wait for a 3-wave pullback, and that's exactly what we got, right? So we pulled back 1, A, or A, B, C. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Now's your opportunity to buy. So then I move it a little bit sideways here, and then you actually had a base, right? If that didn't give you the buy, look at this. You actually had a base here. And that base lasted, how long did this last? It lasted almost 3 days. So you had 3 days opportunity, 3 days worth of opportunities to buy this pullback, right? So you had a 5-wave move, a 3-wave pullback, and a base, and a back test of the bull market support band again, right? So let's fast forward to right now. So what are we waiting for now, right? This is just to prepare us for a good buying opportunity, right? What we're waiting for now is obviously a reversal, right? I was going to use that fractal for example, but I think it's better if I just show you here. So let's wait for it to bottom out. Maybe it needs another low, right? Whatever the case may be. But what we're going to do, and we're going to capitalize on this, right? I'm going to do my best to help all of us get a perfect buying opportunity. So if you have cash, right, not financial advice, do whatever you need to do. But I would set some aside just in case we do have a perfect buy. And what a perfect buy is, right, obviously it's catching the bottom, but a lot of times you don't know when that's going to be. We did all the measurements. It looks like the bottom is very, very close, at least for a bounce, right, back to the upside. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's say we get a 5-wave move like that. Don't FOMO into that. What we're going to wait for is an ABC. And then that's when we buy right there. So you could buy here, but then you can risk going down lower, right? And then getting a 5-wave move with a 3-wave pullback, right? Or let the market go all the way down, let the market come all the way up, and then just wait for that 3-wave pullback. And that's kind of how you know when it's ready to roll. And that's actually going to be, I think, my main idea now, moving forward, is something like this. That's exactly what I'm expecting, something like this. Now, could it be a little bit different? Yes, it could be a little bit different. For example, it could actually come up like this and then make another move down like this, right? Getting down in here, right? And then we get that 5-wave move, and then a 3-wave pullback, and then go, right? And then what that would do is create bullish divergence here, right? So we don't really have any bullish divergence on the higher time frame. That's the only issue that I have, right? And a lot of times that's what you want. So if we get this little sideways move, the price comes up like this, right? The RSI. And then we have one more final flush. Same thing here. We have another flush, but we made a higher low, and then we came up like this, right? Come down, and then we shoot out, and then we break out, right? So you could see a low, lower low, low, higher low, right? So it's bullish divergence. So either the first idea that I just shared, or this idea where we have a little bit of sideways chop, we come down, hit the low. It might not even get this low. It might be only half of that. Whatever the case may be, right? We want to wait for that 5-wave move. So anyways, that's that's kind of what we're looking at here. So in my opinion, and then by the way, if it did that, you kind of see a little inverse head and shoulders working on here. So you kind of want to see some indication of a bottom here. So you could see how we built a base here, we reverse. Same thing here. We came down, we built a little base, we reversed. Or not reversed, but it was a bounce, right? Now sometimes when you get a 5-wave move, you know, sometimes you don't get a nice pullback. Like right here, right? If this was the low, well, actually, this was a double bottom, and then you had 1, 2, you can say 3, 4, 5, and then you had an ABC, but it didn't retrace down like you would want it to. So that's kind of, you know, another concern people could have is for the ABC not to pull back to where you would like it, like how this one pulled back. It pulled back nice and deep, right? So I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. But again, it's very exciting. I can't imagine people are excited right now, right? I mean, we just dumped. I mean, Theta hit $1.47, so it went below $1.50. So I can imagine a lot of people are feeling kind of like bummed out. But I'm actually, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm actually getting excited. I'm actually getting anxious. You know, you don't want to front run it too much, but I'm waiting here to see some kind of bottom get hashed out, because this thing isn't going to fall forever. Eventually it's going to reverse, and for that, you know, we're looking at Bitcoin here, right? So if Bitcoin has that one final low, that could be that second idea that I just had with Theta, where we have that low, then we get that 5-wave move, then we get the ABC, then we buy the ABC, that final ABC, and then ride the wave, right? So same thing here. We came down, we had 5 waves in here, and then we had an ABC. So instead of knowing where the bottom was here, we allowed the wave to go up, we waited for the ABC, and then bought here, right? See what I mean? It's kind of the same thing. So Bitcoin is in reversal price territory. So it's right in this line, right in this sort of backtest area, right in the middle here, between here's the low, here's the high. It's kind of right in the middle here. So that's sort of reversal territory. So let's see. But what I really wanted to show you, and hit that like button because I think we're going to go over an hour, is total 3. This is all the altcoins basketed into one chart. So let's go to the daily. Guys, look at this. It's still holding up here. And we have some bullish divergence on the daily, right? So you can see this low, right? You can see low, low, lower low, lower low, and then you can see low, higher low, right? So that's a good indicator that we could get going here. Yeah, this is very I'm very excited, right? Because when you get this 3-way pullback, and then you have this initial bounce, come back down, right? And then you have this sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then you pull back, you kind of break this trend here, right? And everybody thinks, okay, we're going down. But what really happens here is you come down just to grab liquidity down in here before taking it back up, right? So the way this is going down kind of leads me to believe that. Now, this is, again, we're still at the major inflection point. If this continues to break down, then we're going to look at coming back down to backtest this area, back down in here, which is drastically going to change the way the chart looks, right? So we're going to be doing something like this and then going higher, which is going to set us back quite a bit of time. But again, that could totally happen. And we have to be prepared for that to happen. If that does happen, then we can expect a very bullish October, November, December, right? Because again, we're in summer months. Summer months are usually down and depressing. So we'll see how this plays out. So I know I'm excited, but we're nowhere near out of the woods yet. I'm excited really to see what happens more than anything. So let's check on our fractal and see what it was doing. And by the way, what was theta doing when this occurred? If I put the price of theta on, it's going to be kind of hard to see, but you can see theta had a low right here, right? It actually took out its low. So it had an A, B, C, right? So here's the low. Theta took out the low in this ABC, and then it built a base, and then it continued higher, right? That's exactly what theta's doing now. So that's kind of interesting. So what was theta doing over here on this drop? Well, it already had taken out this high, and it was kind of going sideways in here. So let's put on the fractal and see if we can see where we're at here. So here we go. Here's the grand finale right here. I mean, gosh, when I saw the price kind of bleeding yesterday, I thought, oh man, the fractal's screwed. And it could still be screwed, right? But we're literally hanging by a thread, guys. I mean, technically, we kind of broke it a little bit. We're actually a little bit behind schedule. We should actually start moving higher if this thing's going to hold true. So we really have literally zero more wiggle room. So that means that theta has to be at the low, Bitcoin has to be at the low, Ethereum has to be at the low. All of them have to be at their lows, hashing out a low, right? Building a base. So that's why I'm saying this could be an incredible buying opportunity. But if the fractal breaks, right, then we got to look to come back down here to backtest. But, crypto is all about taking risk, right? And if you're already in, you're already in. And, in my opinion, hodling, investing for the future, right? Years down the line, generational wealth, right? Because crypto is like a gang. People say, I'm going to get in and I'm going to do my time and I'm going to get out. No. Once you're in crypto, you're in it for life. It's like a blood gang, right? So I'm looking at crypto, at a 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, basically my whole life. I'm looking at being in crypto, building my investment. Now, that doesn't mean I can't take profits. But when we look back 5 years from now, I'm asking myself, what is my future self saying 5 years from now? Was this a good buy, or was I too greedy waiting for another low that never came and I missed it? You see what I mean? So this could be the pivotal point of all buying opportunities right here. Now, that doesn't mean literally right this second, right? I would actually wait. Again, I would wait for a base to get built out, especially like on theta, right? We talked about the 5-way move. Let's wait for that 3-way pullback. That way we can reduce our risk in case it does go lower. So there's ways to mitigate that risk. But wow, look at this thing. I mean, we are literally right at the bottom here. So let me put this back up here. And you can see, right, we had this drop. We had the drop. It came up. Came down, came up, came down. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing here. It's the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we had this quick dump to the downside, quick dump to the downside, and then this quick reversal, right? So let's wait and see if we get the reversal. So if this thing's going to hold true, right, maybe go a little bit sideways in here, but eventually break to the upside, just like that. Back up to this range in here. And then kind of chop sideways a little bit and then break out. So that's kind of what we want to see. So what I would say, guys, if you want to be conservative, wait for total 3 to get back up here. If we get back up here and we flag out just like we did last time, then it's going to be undeniably the truth that this thing is getting ready to rip, right? Because this is the scary point right here. This is like nail biting, right? Do or die, like, oh my God, are we going to do this or not? Right? This is what it all comes down to. So if we get a reversal out of there and then we start flagging out, then basically we already accomplished it, right? We already did it, right? So now remember, this move can be either like this, or it could be some kind of three-way move like this, right? So we have to identify which one it's going to be, because we could easily come up and then come back down and break the low. But if we start flagging out in here like we did up in here, then that's when I would say buying Theta, XRP, well, whatever coin you want, really, because that's kind of the signal, like, okay, we're about to explode here. So wow, this is do or die here. So we've already fell quite a bit, so I would imagine we build a base in here and then come back up. But if we keep falling, it's going to be very rare, because I mean, we already went far, right? So we need some kind of pullback, then continue down if we're going to continue down. So we'll see how this week is going to be critical. So I would say this is the week of all weeks. This week we will know what happens. I would, if not worst case, next week, but the fractal really doesn't give any more room here, right? And look at total 3. We're still right at the bottom part of this bull market support band, but we're still holding up pretty well. So let's take a quick look at the smaller time frames. It doesn't really have that finished look though. 1, 2, I mean, I guess you could say 3, 4, 5. I guess you could say so, but it kind of looks like it wants to do this, something like that. So just be on the lookout for another low, and just be cautious, and let's see what happens. I mean, you can see XRP is the only one that's kicking butt today, so that's kind of interesting. The whole market is down. So I'm going to get into that in this next video here. It's going to be XRP. And I'm also going to touch on a couple other things as well. So even if you don't like XRP, I recommend watching it. And the screenshot of the day goes to Blockchain Backer. He put out a good chart here I really like. And he's basically following the same fractal we are. We have had many different fractals, but this fractal is actually the one that's been the best. So it doesn't surprise me at all that people are looking at it, and when you compare it right to XRP back in the day, it actually nailed it perfectly. So we'll see how it plays out. And also, I'm going to talk about Theta Fuel as well, and I'm going to tell you what's going on in here. It's a little bit of a disappointment that we didn't hold up here, but we still haven't broken this low. It's lost that fractal look that we looked at on Bitcoin, sort of that channel that we were looking at here, boom boom, kind of that running flat where we get that pullback and explode. But when it comes to small caps, and especially, I mean, any crypto, right, it's not going to escape the, it could have the perfect setup, right? And if Bitcoin decides, you know what, I'm going to fall today, it really can't escape that wrath. But it's still very bullish, still very bullish. I'm looking at this probably as a bigger flat, and I'm going to talk about this. So we have 3, 3, 5, right? So maybe we get one more low, we come back and we back test this area, and then we go. It's still very bullish, guys. So I'll talk about it on the next video. Anyways, that'll do it for this one. I still gotta, there's still a lot of other things I need to talk about, like Ethereum is very interesting. Some dominance, and maybe a couple altcoins. You know, chain link, you know, it didn't break the low. There's a few things that we need to discuss here. XRP versus Ethereum. I mean, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had a beautiful 5-wave move. And then look, let's see if there's divergence. Look at that. We have massive bullish divergence here. And now look at this. We have a bullish engulfing candle here. So I'm going to get into XRP, so stick around. I'm going to put that video out as soon as I'm done recording this one. So, all right, guys, I will catch you guys in the next one. Please hit that like button. It really helps a little channel like mine, you know, grow a little bit more than it's been doing. But I appreciate everybody tuning in and hearing what I have to say. And yeah, I appreciate everybody, and happy Father's Day to everybody out there. And I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.